righty. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Energized Living Today. We are presenting SoulView here today, and I am just so excited that you are here. This is a very special time right now because we have with us Lorelei Robbins, and Lorelei is getting married on the 29th, and Ferris and I are actually going to be there in Atlanta to witness her wedding, and that's going to be so exciting. So are y'all ready, Lorelei?
Sort of, and yes and no. You know, it's sort of like there's nothing traditional about this wedding, so so I have nothing to compare it to, even though I've done it a number of times. But you know, but this is the first time I've been conscious, like really conscious.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah. Well, you and John are such a beautiful, just a beautiful union of people. Just I love being around you too. It's so wonderful. But as you know, and you know, Ferris, by the way, everybody, this is Ferris, in case you don't know Ferris. He's my sidekick. He's the producer. He's the techno geek, and he's been trying to help us before this call today to adjust our color because it's a little bit off, and we apologize for that. We don't know what is going on, but all of us have kind of a weird shades of color today. So, but we'll be just brilliant. Anyway, we are going to be talking today about the marriage of shadows. And I love this topic because Lorelei and I actually teach a Soul Shadows workshop, Dance with Your Soul Shadows workshop. And we were talking about her getting married and how when you're in relationship, regardless if it's just a personal friendship or if it's a love relationship, an intimate relationship, you have shadows that have the opportunity to dance together. So how do they shape your relationship? What happens? What are they? So today we're going to talk about that. And, you know, many of us ask ourselves, what is the shadow side of this relationship? What am I learning from this relationship? What shadows have showed up because of this relationship? And that's one that, Lorelei, that I want to talk about because that's what happened with Gary and me. We had new shadows that I'd never experienced before that showed up when Gary and I got together. So anyways, before we get started, Lorelei, I would love for you to tell us the astrological temperature right now, the cosmic weather.
Cosmic weather, right? Well, so today, the planet Saturn, I actually wrote about this on Facebook. Saturn is the planet of maturity and reality and organization and authority. And Saturn was going backwards since last April until today, which means that the last 5 months for most of us, whether we've been conscious of it or not, have been an internal journey around who is making the decisions, who are the authorities in our lives, and where are we still perhaps holding on to old constructs from the past, old definitions, old karma. This is such a significant cycle around anything that feels repetitive, you know, in our lives when things happen and we go, oh, here's that same thing again, coming around again. Well, this is like an opportunity for sort of a once and for all to own what's ever going on, which is very Saturnian. It's like, if I take responsibility for my reality, I can change it. If I don't take responsibility for it, if we don't take responsibility for what the reality of our life is, we can't change anything, no matter what the specific details are. So this is when a planet changes direction, especially one of the outer planets, it's usually, it's a week or so on either side. So this could feel very much like people could be having sort of internal conversations with themselves, like, am I done with this? You know, or this person that keeps coming around that's just wearing a different hat. They wore a red hat, then it's the person with the blue hat, then it's the person with the yellow hat. And right now, as we're doing this call and for the next few days, we're in the disseminating phase of the moon. And this is the phase of the moon to share what you know, to get a perspective on whatever the last, 3 weeks or so, not quite have been since the new moon. And one other thing, the planet of communication, Mercury, and Venus, the planet of relationship, are both in Libra now. The sun will be there on the 23rd at the fall equinox. But planets in Libra are always about people wanting to reach out more. So any relationship where one wants to ameliorate circumstances or to reconnect or to smooth ruffled waters, this is energy to be able to do that in, where people are just more geared to wanting to find the middle ground, the compromise, the cooperation, the collaboration, however you want to define that. So it's a pretty active sky these days for all of us, but remembering that the planets don't do anything to us. They are reflecting what's going on inside us, which is why when we get that, it can feel empowering versus disempowering. I'm at the mercy of the moon. I'm at the mercy of Saturn. I'm at the mercy of Pluto, whatever. And that's not really true. That, the planets are there to guide us and to reflect where it is each of us is. So I think for now, that's probably good in terms of the cosmic weather, Cindy.
Well, one of the things that you said, same circumstances, different hat. I really love that. That was great. And what you're talking about is those people that we run into again and again. It's a different person, and yet they bring to the table something that we have experienced in our lives before. That's what you're saying?
Absolutely. Yeah. And they may just look different. One might be a person in a romantic relationship, then it might be a friendship, then it might be a professional relationship, but there's a common thread that's weaving through there. And of course, that common thread is that part of us that we haven't owned.
Yeah.
Giving back to us, mirroring back to us.
Well, there's a wonderful book, talk about owning. Owning Your Own Shadow is a wonderful book. It's one that when I went to the National Institute of Whole Health, that was required reading. And that's when I first started doing shadow work, and recognized myself way too many times. But it was, Lorelei, probably one of the most healing things that I've ever done.
Yeah. And
then I did Dark Side of the Light Chasers. I think a lot of people know that, with Debbie Ford. And you and I take this whole workshop to a different level, and we'll talk about that a little bit. What we really wanted to talk about today, as I said, the marriage of shadows. So each of us come to the table and we have different shadows, and there are 12 different archetypes that represent or that come with several shadows. And what Lorelei and I discovered the last time, even though we didn't clearly know it until after the fact, each one of these shadows shows up perhaps in different ways, in more so depending on your cast of characters. Right, Lorelei?
Absolutely. Oh, am I not there? No,
yeah, you're here.
Yeah. I mean, the beauty of the astrological piece, it just sheds a whole new light on what psychologists and relationship experts and counselors have talked about, forever. It's just another way to understand, oh, there's that angry, passionate part of me, Aries, for instance, that I'm not comfortable with. And so I keep bringing these people in different forms that are expressing their anger, or that are, and I'm making it about them. But when I finally get that they're all just coming in as a result of the script that I wrote, that my soul wrote, that I'm ready to integrate this part of me, this part of my shadow. And, I wanted to say something, Cindy, and I know we'll be talking more about this over the months. There's a major aspect happening in 2020, and this is connected to shadow, because it could be so easy to be looking at the shadows of government, of everyone out there who's misusing power, power mongers, all of this abuse. Well, it all starts at home, and there's a union, and it's going on this year, but the planets are not exactly dancing cheek to cheek. Pluto, the planet of power, and Saturn, the planet of authority. And it's you know, if you Google it, you'll read all, you know, most astrologers are talking about this in one way or another. This major conjunction, this major dance. And the beauty of it is we can choose to believe that whatever breaks down is breaking down, number one, to break through, for sure. But, you know, where we were talking about, you know, offering what we're going to, the soul shadows again, and in these, all these kinds of, with these innovative things, I thought, wow, what an opportunity we all have. It's like if each person, in whatever way they choose to do that, owns that part of them, that shadow piece, then we're going into that cycle next year from a very powerful stance, as opposed to if that energy is projected out there. So really what we're going to be doing is, what excites me about it so much is it's always timely for that, but this is one way for people to be able to really get in touch with what could feel projected out there. I'm at the mercy of this, you know, branch of the government, or, you know, this breaking down, or this law, or whatever, this boundary. It's like we all have an opportunity to do that work individually.
I think that's huge, and we're going to be talking about that throughout the workshop. And what I would like to do right now, Lorelei, is I'm just going to mention some of the archetypes, or should we have a couple people go ahead and put their birth information in, and then let's look at that, and then
yeah, we could do that.
The archetype.
Yeah.
Which way would you like to do that?
We can have people put their birth information in. That would, I think that would be great.
Okay, if you'll go ahead, everybody, and put your birth information in, and we don't need the time or anything like that. Just let us know your birth date, and then we're going to compare this to the archetypes, and then I want to also know about who your mate is, or the person that you are on a journey with, that there's a whole lot of shadows showing up for you. Ferris and I have been in business together we've been together for 28 years. We've been working together for 26 years. And it's interesting, Lorelei, how those shadows change over the years. We had to deal with very different, you know, as workmates, we had to deal with very different shadows when we first started, as compared to the shadows after 26 years or 28 years of knowing each other that are showing up now.
That's fascinating.
It is, and they've changed. So I'm curious, and let's see here. I'm seeing, okay, Stella just wrote in, and she's December 24th, 1947.
Okay.
And
go to my astrology. Oh, can you not hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see my little yellow box there. Okay, so what I'm going to do,
if you can talk a little louder.
Okay. Is this loud enough?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
So 12, 24, 47, 19. I'm just at another screen putting in the information. So.
And if you're on YouTube, Ferris is going to be checking YouTube as well. So
yep.
Go ahead and key in your information. We won't get to everybody, just so you know, but we would like to take a couple of these, and then we're going to go over here to the archetypes. And while Lorelei is putting that together, I'm just going to mention some of them, which I think a lot of you have done some shadow work before. But if you haven't, you know, you've got the rebel, you've got the jester, the lover, the caretaker, the regular guy or regular girl, the innocent, the ruler, the sage, the magician, the hero, the creative, the explorer. So
that's me.
The explorer?
All of them.
Oh, yeah, that's you, Ferris. But they cycle in and out of your life. Right. Now, when it comes to your chart, here's a couple things that I want to make clear for everybody. When it comes to your astrological chart, these are qualities that you came in with that help the energy of these qualities guide you through your life, and they manifest in different ways as you go along. Also, your personality type and temperament. That is also something that you came in with, and that's how you get things done. That's how you motivate forward and you get things done in your life. The archetypes are not inherent. These are things that through life experiences and coming in relationship with people actually form. So we are comparing the three. How does this all work? And how do they show up in relationships? So Lorelei, did I do a good job? Did I do okay with explaining that?
Yeah. So
anything you want to clarify?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm looking at, what is her name? Stella?
Stella's
chart. So, again, an interesting combination of Capricorn, which is the sun sign, which is, and again, Capricorn being ambitious and driven and achievement oriented, and it's the sign of accomplishment. Stella has significant Sagittarius energy, which is the wanderer, which is the seeker. Truth is very important. Sagittarius is, it's always interesting when a Capricorn has Sag energy, because Sagittarius is the most optimistic sign in the zodiac, and Capricorn comes along very much as the sober realist. So, shadow qualities of Capricorn certainly can be, judgmental. This is right, this is wrong, this is good, this is bad, this is black, this is white. Pretty rigid and regimented. And yet at the same time, Stella has this freedom-oriented, don't fence me in, almost undisciplined sign. I'd be curious because in shadow, that could look like, attracting people that she might have to feel she has to be responsible for, but that's a projection, possibly, in other words, because Capricorn is always looking for more opportunities to be responsible for something, to be in charge of something. It's, I always call it the executive of the zodiac, because it's the planner, it's the organizer. But yet, by the same token, there's a part of her that could be disorganized, because that would be part of the adventure. I'd be curious to know how she experiences.
Hi.
Well, what's really cool is Edgar, the person she's in partnership with, he is, let me see, that's January 16th, 1958. So Edgar is a Capricorn.
Oh, wow. And she is too.
So you're talking about, she has this Cap energy, and, as far as archetypes, the ones that would be most likely to show up, especially, in a relationship where you have a Capricorn, a true Capricorn, and now you've got Capricorn with Sag energy, that freedom energy. So you've got a ruler. When I'm looking at the archetypes, it would be ruler, don't you think?
Yeah, when I read ruler, I was thinking Capricorn.
Yep. And also sage.
Right.
Sage would be another one, because they're very wise people, very smart, intelligent people. So you've got a ruler, these are archetypes that can show up in this relationship. Well, they both have the same.
Yeah.
So what can you tell us about Edgar?
Well, okay. What's his year?
It's 1958. Okay. 1/16/1958.
Okay, 1/16. Hold on one second. Let me just shift this. 1/16/58. 1/16/1958. Well, first of all, it's fascinating. Just people of the same sun sign. Anything that we share with someone else astrologically is ripe for shadow, because, it's so easy to want to claim the positive traits, the attractive traits, but yet project the other stuff onto someone else. And if two people share common astrological, astrological makeup, then it's even more, well, I think I told you when John and I first, we've known each other for 20 years and we've been together as partners. It'll be 7 in November. And I remember saying with a lilt in my voice, oh, I'm going to see myself coming and going. We have 9 planets in the same sign. We're 9 days apart. I said that with, oh, this is going to be so much fun. And there's no question. I have seen parts of me that I adore that I had never seen as a result of my relationship with him. And I have seen and continue to see parts of me that I said to John, I said, you and I are really courageous, because just the fact that we are willing to do this dance, you know, and experience these parts of us. Now I'm frozen over here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're fine.
Oh, that's so funny because my screen is frozen. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. So again, just the fact that they are of the same sun sign. Now I have nothing on the screen. This must be my pre-birthday release, Cindy. That's all I can figure. And my lunar return is tomorrow, because now now it says Zoom meeting not responding. So let me see if I can go back. As long as you guys can hear me. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, we can hear you fine. And Stella is here. Hi, Stella.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Lorelei, are you going to drop out and come back, or?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
We just can't see you for some reason.
Yeah,
I can see her.
Oh, you can see her?
Yeah, I can see all of you.
Okay, great, great.
I've got a black.
So, Lorelei,
Well, what's so funny is Edgar also is a combination of Sag and Capricorn.
oh,
More Sagittarius energy, because Stella, your moon is in Taurus, so you're double Earth. His moon is in Sagittarius, so he's got a couple of other Sag planets. You know, in other words, you could be responsible adventurers in the world, you know, because Sag is adventure. So how does that play out? Do you see those qualities of Capricorn in him? Because it's like you both would be Capricorns that have a sense of humor. That's not a Capricorn trait, humor.
Yeah, we do. We have a sense of humor. And I am a traveler. I'm here and there and gone. And just like you said, I'm never in one place. I just go all over. I am a masseuse. I am a traveling masseuse. So I go all over to do massages. And he stays home and never complains, never says anything.
Well, then,
But I gotta go somewhere. I'm going for 5 days or 10 days. Okay, honey. And
well,
really?
but here's what's interesting. While Capricorn is very duty bound and responsible in their life, Sagittarius is one of the two signs of the zodiac that needs freedom. So you going and coming and traveling, and so he may stay home, but he must enjoy the freedom as much as you do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he does. I mean, we never, you know, I don't tell him what to do. He doesn't tell me what to do. We just, all my friends say, well, you better watch out. He's going to find somebody. I said, no, he was after me for 15 years. So
Yeah.
I kind of say yes.
Well, because see, this is how this could play out. The fact that the two of you share 3 or 4 of your characters in the same sign, again, you could see those qualities that you like about that, and also what you're not crazy about. But the point is, it's like that each of you would have built into your personality that need for space and giving each other space. So it would be interesting, you know, does it ever happen where one of you's being much more responsible than the other and the other one needs to fly free, or do you pretty much kind of balance that out?
Yeah, we balance. He stays home because he has a business that he has to stay home. You know, he can't fly. But when I tell him, you can go with me anytime. But, you know, sometimes he goes, or sometimes he just stays. Most of the time he stays. But he never complains. And I don't complain because he doesn't complain.
Right. So what is his business? I'm curious. Does it have something to do with international or what's the business that he's in?
He's a mechanic in electronics. He does electronical work and he fixes cars and the computer. He's like and always in the computer but his business is a mechanic fixing cars.
Okay. So does he approach that sort of as an adventure? You know, Sag is the sign of adventure. And again, I know he's Capricorn, but
Yeah, he does because many people come to him because, let's say, a car. He has bought great cars because nobody can start the car. The car is they can't start it. So that's a challenge to him. He gets every card that he gets in his hand, he gets it working one way or another. He finds the whatever is wrong with it.
Okay, so
So
that's his way to do adventure. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's the,
Well, I'd
But-
like to just interject some of the Jungian archetypes here. The explorer is one, and that sounds like you. This is, the goal is to be self-fulfilled, to go out and discover things, to be independent and an adventurous. Does that sound like you?
that's me.
Okay. The shadow side to the adventure, of course, or the explorer, is that you are too independent, that you don't need someone, that you're a bit of a misfit sometimes, or feel like you are, even if you're not, but a bit of a misfit in your relationship, because you can only stay there for so long before you get restless and have to go. Does that sound familiar?
Well, I stay as long as I see I see that we can interchange. But I'm the one that I've been married twice, and I have divorced them because I just didn't see it wasn't going anywhere.
Mm,
So I wasn't going to stay in a sick relationship. I said, that's it. Goodbye.
right.
I'm still friends with them.
That's good. That's good.
I still talk to one of them every day because I have a son with him. The other one is gone. He's dead. But
Oh, okay.
I still keep up with them, and help them if they need my help. I'm always there.
So you are a nurturing person,
Yes.
as well as being the explorer.
Yes.
So what we're doing here, I'm trying to recognize the shadows within your relationship, or even if it's a past relationship that didn't cause it to work, because that's what we're talking about today, is the shadows within your relationship. So what would you see as your shadow?
I will say as a shadow, like in a past relationship, he wanted me to be there with him 24/7.
Oh, yeah, that one.
That's not me. I
Yeah,
cannot be
the
24/7.
explorer in you would not even allow that. That's
No.
that's not going to work.
That's not gonna work, and this guy saw me and he knows how I am. So he doesn't hold me back because he knows
Well, and I would say
I will say goodbye.
he doesn't hold you back, because when he encourages you or doesn't complain if you leave or encourages you to do your thing, he's talking to himself also.
Right.
Like,
Right.
you're being a free spirit. That's not a Capricorn trait. That's again, it's part of how you're wired, but Capricorn's not a free spirit. Capricorn is, these are my responsibilities, these are my duties, it's the work, it's a work sign. So his being so accepting of you being who you are and your need for freedom would help him to be free in his own life. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. He's pretty.
Beautiful.
Yeah. We have a nice, and he loves dancing and I do too. So we love dancing.
But I would also imagine that if you guys have a goal about anything, like we want to do this, or we want to accomplish that, or we want to whatever, don't you pretty much work well together to take the steps to whatever it is?
Yeah. Right now his goal is, he's meditating, and he meditates about 2 hours a day.
Wow.
Because
Oh.
his goal is to help all these souls that are in between. That's what he wants to help, all the souls that are stuck in the between, to help them raise to heaven, or to the light.
Yeah.
And that's his goal right now. And so he meditates for 2 to 3 hours every morning.
So mechanic is just his cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love this.
Well, it's very interesting what you just said about working with the other side, because his Jupiter, we all have Jupiter in the chart. The planet Jupiter is the planet of the meaning and purpose of life. It's our contract with God and the universe. He has Jupiter in Scorpio. anybody that's working on the other side or with the debt, you know, any of that, wanting to help, that's very interesting, you know, and almost seeing it as the journey, part of that adventure part of him, that's even part of the adventure. But transformation would be something that would very much speak to him. So that, wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's what I tell him, I joke with him, I said, honey, there's a lot of people here on earth that needs your help. He says, no, I'm interested in the other side, because although he does, we took the Susan Powell, the Zen healing, and he's a healer. He puts the hand on, and a lot of people that he does healing to, they say that they feel great. So I'm encouraging him to do it, because he feels he has to meditate or ask permission before he could touch anybody. If he didn't meditate in the morning, then he can't do it. I said, no. You just say, I can do it, and I'm going to do it right now. But he has to get there. I do that because I'm a healer too, but still can't get that.
Well, we've got several other people that we're going to talk to here, Stella. So we thank you so much for writing.
That was beautiful.
Yes, thank you.
Very
and
nice.
I love hearing about your relationship. Sounds beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to all.
Ferris, would you check on YouTube and see if we have anybody that wrote in their birth information?
No, we don't.
Okay. All right. Let's go over to Valerie. Valerie is, let me see, 7/20/64. And
I can't, I'm trying to get back in again.
Can
you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm just seeing my screen. Okay. So just give me the birth date and I'll go.
Yeah. 7/20/64.
7/20/64. Okay. So
So is that Leo or is that?
No, that's Cancer.
That is Cancer. Okay.
1960.
They're just right on the
7/20/64. So am I just coming across as frozen on your screen?
No,
Yeah.
you're not frozen for me.
Oh, that is so funny because I can't see you. All right. Yeah. So she's.
It is frozen.
It is frozen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Huh.
Yeah, I thought I was.
It's not frozen for me. Okay.
Well, okay. So here's an interesting mix of energy. The sun, if we just look at the sun and the moon, sun in Cancer, of course, is Cancer being one of the most security conscious signs, well, the most security conscious sign, wanting to feel safe, wanting to feel secure, sense of belonging. Often family usually is very important, or that feeling of family where, what is her first name, Cindy?
Valerie.
It's Valerie, and then her partner is Robert.
Oh, okay.
2/25/65.
2/25/65. So her moon is Sagittarius. So very interesting for a Cancer whose moon, because the moon is the guardian angel planet of Cancer in Sag, because Cancer again has very strong feelings to need to root and to feel a sense of foundation, and yet moon in Sag wants to fly free, you know, wants to, again, it's interesting, we got the Sag energy going on. So let's see, 2/25/65. Let me put him in here. Let's see. 2/25/1965.
So right on the cusp of Pisces.
Yeah, he's Pisces.
Yeah.
So 2 water signs. So, you know, people of the same element often are attracted to each other. Now here, okay, and so his moon is Capricorn, which is, again, her opposite sign. So, you know, whenever there's oppositions, we are pulled. There's an attraction. It's like it's sort of like that dysfunctional line from Jerry Maguire, "You complete me," which of course is, you know, it's a great line for a movie, but when you really take it apart, it's like, whoa, that's the reason most relationships are in the state that they're in, because we're looking for someone else to complete us with that missing piece of that we don't have, instead of, you know, reflecting it back to us. But so he is but I would say a very responsible Pisces, much less escapist than typical Pisces energy. He's born with the planet of responsibility next to the sun, Saturn, and then a moon in Capricorn. So, so I would wonder, you know, because she has such a great need for space and freedom, yet again, you know, he could easily provide the grounding that she needs.
So I wonder if she's on where we could ask her any questions.
Why is this not?
Sure would love to know a little
Can you
bit.
hear me? I think I have the.
There she is.
Oh, hi.
Hi. I just didn't
Hi
put the
there.
video. Okay.
Tell us a little bit about the relationship and where you think some of these archetypes and shadows are showing up in your relationship.
Well, I mean, as far as my need for freedom, he travels a lot, so that helps. He's much more of a big traveler than I am. For some reason, I've never been. I mean, I do like to travel, but I do have this big sense to be home too. I always like, I'm okay being home. I'm okay being home. So there's some conflict there. But I don't know. I think we do have a lot of shadows, but I'm not sure how to articulate it. That's why
well, you know, the easiest way to figure out a shadow is to, and again, I'm not saying you're not being honest with yourself, but is for any of us to be really honest about what our experience in a relationship is, you know, of something. And, you know, as honestly with ourselves as possible, that's where we're going to start to find where the shadow is operating, you know, as opposed to we get along so great, everything's wonderful. Well, that's great. I mean, if that is where our relationship is, that's terrific. It very likely, you know, has a different purpose than a relationship where there's a lot of emotional, you know, turmoil and upheaval, perhaps because there's a lot that those two people have come together to want to learn about themselves, you know. So therefore a relationship could seem to be a bit more stormy, let's say, than someone else's, and there's no judgment either way, you know, of what, you know, at what level one wants to experience the relationship. You're both water signs. So, you know, Cancer is very much the personal water sign. Pisces is more about, you know, being concerned about the world at large kind of thing. Did he grow up early in some way? Did he have to be mature early on in his life? Was he taking care of people?
no, not that I know.
No?
No.
Okay.
Let me give you just a quick, a better understanding, I think, of what we are wanting to accomplish here. And I'll use Ferris and me because we're pretty easy because we are so different in the way that we operate. Ferris is, he's an Aquarius, but he has a lot of Capricorn energy, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And I am a Pisces, and I've got lots of Pisces. I'm a Libra moon. I'm very creative. The thing about somebody that's very creative, you have these wonderful visions of things, and you're always creating. Sometimes you're so creative you can't follow through. That's a shadow that I've always had to battle. I mean, I boxed that shadow more than once in my life. I'm sure that a lot of Pisces out there probably have had that same issue. For Ferris is his two primary shadows that I see, or archetypes that produce his shadows, are the sage and the jester. Because the sage, he's one of the smartest people I've ever met. He understands world order. He remembers everything that he learns. He is always smart, which that can, when it shows its shadow side, it is making other people wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's, you know, he's a know-it-all. He can be a know-it-all, and he has to work on that. He's very analytical in the way he does things, but he's also the jester. So he loves to have a good time. He likes to joke around, and that shadow is all about hiding your own feelings.
Okay.
I
We're both a bit of a jester. My husband's a bit of a sage, but he's definitely likes to be right. He's very, when you said about Capricorn kind of being a ruler and a sage, I could see that. He's very tough. He is like, he's an executive, but he's in sales. So he's very much an exaggerator, I think. I don't know. I'm not sure how.
So he's creative, you're saying?
Creative. Okay,
Yep.
I'll come at that. Very creative.
Hey, it takes creativity to come up with these angles.
Yes. I'm more, we're opposite in that one because I'm like always try to be very good with the truth and everything. And I'm always like, no, that's not right. That's never. And he's like, shh, whatever. So I'm always, and I think I'm quiet compared to him. And he's like the big, I used to think I was an extrovert, but I don't think so, really. But I don't know. We seem to be opposites in a lot of ways. But he's more clingy as far as.
Really?
He seems to be. I don't know.
So where would that come from, Lorelei, in his?
Well, that's what's so interesting because clingy is a Cancer trait.
Yeah.
Now, but again,
she's the Cancer, and he's in.
She's the Cancer, and he's the Pisces. Yeah. So do you acknowledge any percentage of clinginess in you? I mean, you do. Now, let me say, you do have a Sag moon, which is the opposite. Which is the opposite of clingy. Sag is let me fly free. Let me do my own thing. Doesn't need the security and safety that Cancer does. But part of the Cancer expression is clingy. Now, again, that may be way down low on the continuum for you, but I would just wonder if when you see clingy in him, it's not a projection of what's in you that you're not comfortable with. I don't know that that's true.
Yeah, that could be. That could be.
Because he doesn't have it. Well, now again, I don't know the rising signs, but he's very interesting mix, being a Pisces, which is so attuned to the energies of others, but yet he's disciplined. He's like he's a disciplined Pisces, which
in one sense, he's, because he worked for the same company for 20 years. And then more recently, he's been switching. And so he's always he's driven, he's got more of a big picture kind of guy. And sometimes when you mention the follow through, maybe sometimes the details get lost on him or something. But he seems very driven, but I don't know if that's just more ego driven.
Well, I think it's the drivenness of a strong Saturn with a Capricorn moon. Those are two like Capricorn things, because Pisces energy is not driven.
Okay.
Pisces is about wanting to help, wanting to save the world on some level. I mean, I'm being very simple here. Yeah. But he's got the planet of discipline, the planet of the Saturn planet, which is I have a goal, I want to achieve, I want to succeed. Which is it's contrary sort of to the Pisces nature. It doesn't mean Pisces don't succeed, but that's not their primary drive. You know that, Cindy. Right?
Yeah, and hero comes to mind because that's one of my other archetypes that comes with a host of shadows. always wanting to be the hero, the wounded warrior, the go in and save the world. The dark side to that is, well, there's a lot of dark sides to being the hero, but putting yourself and even your family last is one of those things. What else shows up in a hero, Ferris? You have a bit of that yourself.
Well, you just said it, wanting to save the world.
Yeah, and putting
that's really, to my thinking, a shadow side. And at least it is for me.
He doesn't
Yeah,
seem to
because-
take care of his health. He's more concerned about maybe the outward things, materialistic things, and I don't think he's taking care of his health.
Well,
like
that's,
he
and
should.
that's interesting when you said that, you know, concerned with the outer materialistic things. That would be the strong Saturn, even though it's in Pisces. It's so interesting. And a moon in Capricorn. So it's sort of like, I wonder if he believes that he's really capable, that he's wired to make a dream real, to take an ideal and give it a container, you know, in other words, as opposed to just being a visionary or an idealist or whatever about anything.
Yeah.
In other words, he's sort of like at least astrologically, obviously, sort of an idealistic pragmatist or a visionary realist. I mean, both are true, or like that wiring. And again, like most of us, we're not as in touch with certain parts of ourselves as we are with others, you know, because we've deemed certain parts acceptable. But I would say this guy has the ability to put feet under any dream that he has, whatever the dream is, whether it's a big dream or a little dream, he has the ability to be able to give it legs.
Okay, I would agree with that. I know I'm a Taurus rising. I'm not sure what he is.
You're Taurus rising. Okay, so that's interesting because that's a you know, Taurus and Cancer are the two homebody signs.
And I am very much a homebody, but I travel because he travels. But reluctantly, very reluctantly.
I would maybe reluctantly until you leave home, until you get away.
Yes.
Right? It's like getting away from home could be challenging as a Cancer, but once you're going wherever you're going, then I would imagine that Sag moon would take over, and you might even surprise yourself with that adventure and go, wow, I'm so glad I got over myself and took this trip or whatever.
Yeah, if somebody would pack my bag for me, I'd
Right, exactly.
So let me ask you, would another one of your archetypes be perhaps the caretaker? Or the caregiver?
Definitely.
Okay, so the shadow there is putting everybody before you. Where there's a lot of shadows that come with this too, but you know, not putting yourself first.
Yeah.
Letting yourself be a doormat for other people or putting their needs.
Yeah.
Front. Does that sound?
Yeah.
Okay. And that fits right in with that Cancer. And you said also the Taurus?
I'm a Taurus rising, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
this is interesting how this all fits together. This is exactly what we're going to be exploring in Dance with Your Soul Shadows that Lorelei and I are going to be doing. And we are going to be sending out information on the new moon wish list. And that will come out on October 22nd, but the official start of the workshop is October 30th. And if you want to sign up right now, it's $277, but we have a discount for everybody because Lorelei is getting married. So Lorelei, we're doing a wedding discount.
Wedding discount. I love it.
What is that?
I said a wedding discount. I love it.
Yeah. And Ferris just dropped that in there and you can see it. I want to make sure that I did put the correct, I said the 29th, but it's actually the 30th that we're starting. So
it's a Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay. So Ferris, if you want to change that, I have put the wrong date in there. We need to double check those dates.
Oops. Okay.
Yeah. So apparently we have it wrong, but right now it's just $247 for the class. This is a 6-week class. We're going to take everyone through each of the archetypes. And then Lorelei is going to, of course, be working with your chart throughout the 6 weeks so that we can look at where these archetypes come from, or the archetypes that you came in with, and the shadows that come with the archetypes. And Lorelei, do you want to add anything else there? Oh, by the way, the promo code when you go to check out is honeymoon. I love that. They're going to be on their honeymoon just the week before that, right?
Well, I
Lorelei?
mean, the beauty is that it's all a gift. That, I mean, every relationship exists for one sole purpose, I believe, no matter what form that relationship is, romantic, business, friendship, whatever, it exists to help us know ourselves better. We're going, you know, and so to be in relationships where people are courageous enough to explore their shadows. I mean, that's where the power is. You know, it's almost like, you know, when people, they're going together or whatever. I'm talking specifically a romantic relationship now, although this would apply in all relationships, but, you know, and then all of a sudden they get married and the person says, oh my God, they changed so much after we got married. They didn't change. They just revealed things that were already there that were sort of kept at bay, whether they were kept at bay deliberately or they were kept at bay because the person themselves weren't conscious of that part of themselves that all of a sudden awoke in a relationship. I mean, relationships, that's where it's at. I mean, and as I said, this is not just about marriage and romantic relationships. All relationships, you know, it can be the relationship you have with the clerk in the grocery store for 10 minutes and one sees a behavior in that person that is right here and that they just come in to be the teacher of the day, you know? So really, if we go into life and pay attention to who crosses our path, whether it's those who are there for the long haul or for a longer haul, or those that just come and go, it's still all about self-knowing and self-knowledge. And so what I'm excited about is that people can really own that powerful part of themselves, because the planet needs us to do that. You know, I mean, we're all being called to be all of who we are and to own all of it. And if we're not in touch with and know the shadow, we're not able to do that.
One of the big shadows that I've talked about this before, that I've fought with my whole life, is because creative people, you know, they don't see things as they are. They see them as they want them to be.
Totally.
I can't even listen to somebody else's speech without starting to rewrite it on the spot. You know, I've always been that way, creative with the truth. You know, in my mind, what is a truth and what is the real truth to a Capricorn are completely two different things. And because Ferris has a lot of Capricorn energy, it's been a big fight for us. Because I have this creative way of spinning things, and everyone out there that has this.
No.
What I mean.
No.
Yeah, that's.
Well, and he would be more linear. That's what, I mean, in that sense, but yet his personality's not linear.
Right, which is interesting. And Ferris will be, you know, he's so much about correctness that sometimes he's always correcting me.
Yeah.
You know, so you've got somebody that's creative and finding a creative way to express, you know, oneself, and then you have somebody that's going, no, actually, and then they're trying to put you in a rigid box. That's always caused us a lot of issues, and it's something that we continue to look at in ourselves because of our relationship. We've been able to look at that, and we have been working on that, and it's manifesting in different ways still to this day. Would you say so, Ferris?
Yeah, and you know, it just occurred to me, you were talking about the sage and the shadow side, and that was just wrong.
What I mean, everybody?
I mean,
we need to work on that.
Yeah. and we have been working on it for a very long time. But those are when we go on this journey together, everyone, these are the type of things that we're going to be working on. And it's a lot of fun. And we take it a step further. Shadow work has been around for a long time. What Lorelei and I have done is bring in the astrological side to help that make sense for everyone. Where do these shadows show up, or where are they likely to show up based on your sign and also your personality type and temperament? So psychology, we're going to bring in some psychology as well. And again, that's who you were born to be and how you operate in the world, and then all the energy that you bring in astrologically.
I mean, often until we're in some form of relationship with someone, there are certain parts of us that have been dormant.
Yeah.
Or we're not aware of them, or we've judged them in a certain way, and then this person, whoever, comes along and brings a key to unlock perhaps an opportunity to experience ourselves in a way because of that relationship. And that's why that whole thing about, relationships are for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. If we can flow with them, knowing that sometimes they come in for a period of time and the work is done, and others, like family, for instance, often, obviously, we're in relationship with them for the long haul. But, I love when people say, well, you don't choose your family, you choose your friends. Yes, you do choose your family. Big time. Big time. Because it all goes back to there, relationships with friends and coworkers and romantic interests, that all goes back to those familiar relationships. And what I'm, again, so excited about is the fact that we have this major energy that we're in now, but it's exact next year, where I really believe the owning and embracing and loving the shadow in us is imperative, because there's so much beauty there but we've judged it and we've projected it onto somebody else.
Well, one of the things that I'm really good, I'm a warrior for sure. If anything needs to be handled, call in Cindy, it'll get done. And my granddaughter always says that. For the fastest yes, I go to Gary. And if I need something done, if I've got a battle, I'm going to come to Nana, because I get things done. And for a long time, that bitchy side of me, I thought was a negative thing, until I realized, wait a minute. If I need things to get done, if I bring out that side in me, that's what gets things done. And Ferris will tell you, I've scared the bejesus out of some people.
Yeah.
But it got it done.
Yeah.
Now I do it with a more kind heart. That's bringing that shadow out into the light so that I can use it instead of it using me, basically.
Yeah, totally.
Because it uses you up and makes you feel bad.
Totally.
Yeah, it can, because I was reactive. I used to be reactive, and now I'm more laid back about it, but still something needs to be done. I'll get it done, but I can do it from a loving heart.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you're saying, Lorelei,
Yeah,
right?
Totally. Yeah.
So before we leave here, I want you to talk about you and John and the shadows that you have seen in each other, and how you're continuing that journey.
I'll tell you one, of course, the two that come to me immediately when you ask me the question is, of course, we're both the same sun sign. Obviously, we have 9 planets in the same sign, and the sun is one. And so I see both the graciousness and charm and diplomacy and fair-mindedness of Libra in him, which is in me. And I see the overly nauseating, accommodating side and people-pleasing side and approval-seeking side of Libra that's in me, that's so easy to make it about him, when I'll go, God, you're so overly accommodating. From that place of Libra can be so accommodating because Libra doesn't want to upset the apple cart. Libra doesn't want to fight. But when people with Libra energy, and I think this is kind of where we're coming to, is when people with Libra energy, and I'm saying that to anybody that's got prominent Libra stuff, sun, moon, rising, Mercury, Venus, Mars, is able to stand in the conflict, like in mountain pose in yoga, stand firmly planted with the desire for peace and harmony on the other end, then there is not the caving in of Libra and the bending over backwards. So we've reflected both of those back to each other. And the other one, the shadow, is we both have Leo energy. We both have Mars, which is what drives us in Leo. And together we can be very creative, we can be very playful and fun, and we can be like he'll go out of the room in a little temper tantrum of a child, and I'll go, oh, there's that little kid in him that's really, and I'll go, wait a minute, that's you too. He's just acting it out. So, and it doesn't last long, but it's like the infantile part of Leo. Like if Leo is not getting the attention that it wants, you know? So, and of course the beauty is, and this is in our vows, actually, these promises that we made to ourselves back 4 or 5 years ago of really taking the journey of self-love, self-discovery, and self-acceptance with ourselves, so that we can then experience it with each other. Because if anybody can get lost in relationships, I mean, I've been married 5 times. Have I not gotten lost in relationships, would you say?
What would you think, what would you say are some of the biggest shadows that showed up in those other relationships that are different with you?
I just got to see where I was with people pleasing, where I was with how much of myself was I actually going to sacrifice to keep a relationship together, or at least what I do, keep it together, keep it, sort of harmonious and peaceful, and that constant bending over backwards to please. And because Libra energy can be disingenuous, can be in that desire for peace and harmony. It can bend over too much and then totally not be true to itself at all, which of course is not a Libra trait anyway. But as I said, for me, that making the marriage inside, and I don't use that word lightly. I mean, to really be the partner that you're looking for. I mean, that's healthy relationship advice for anybody, but it certainly is for people with Libra energy, because Libra so is looking for itself in the other. You are my mirror. We are mirrors for each other, but Libra is looking for the mirror before it looks inside. And so that's been, for me, the biggest shadow in all of my relationships. And I'm happy to say that I still may do that, but it's more like 10, 20% than it was 80%. I really am very quick to come inside here and do whatever it needs to be done in the relationship with myself. Like, am I being my best friend? Am I being my own partner? Am I being my own parent? That's good advice for anybody, because we are so looking for other people to parent us, like, let me be the little kid that didn't get what he or she needed, and let me attract you so that you can set boundaries for me. And that would be a lot of what would be going on in relationships now that's in upheaval, I would say.
So what you did is, rather than quitting cold turkey, you just tapered off.
Jester, see?
Yes, that's right.
Yep.
I was weaned.
Yeah. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, I love that.
Hi, Ann. I see you there.
Yes, hi, Ann.
Hi, both Anns.
Oh, both Ann.
Oh,
Yes, Ann Barley, who we didn't see.
Yeah.
See that
No, we
face?
didn't see this time. Hi, Ann.
Yeah.
Oh, Ann Barley's got her hand up.
Oh, good.
okay.
Or was that just a wave? I don't ever use those other things.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and see if she has a question.
Okay. You got something to say, Ann?
It's just a wave. Hi.
Okay. Never mind.
Hi.
Okay.
Ann's a Gemini. She's always got something to say.
So in this, we are going to take this a little further, because this time we're going to start off with the archetypes and really explore them, and then bring in everybody's chart. So again,
Just another archetype.
pardon?
The astrology signs are just another archetype.
It is. So it's really fun putting this all together. It's just a beautiful piece of the puzzle. So again, we are starting on October 30th. On the 22nd, you can expect either a video more than likely, from us about writing out your new moon wishes, and Lorelei will send you some suggestions, which I love when she does that, because she thinks of things that I never think of.
Thank you.
So that's.
Oh, and I just want to say, I didn't want this to be not misunderstood, but taken for granted. The reason we're starting on the 30th is because we want to start, if you're going to talk about shadow, you want to at least be in Scorpio energy for part of it, because that is the sign. I mean, that is the sign of the shadow. That's really significant, because one can deal with anything or address anything at any time, but when you address something, when you focus on something in the cosmic weather that supports it, like transformation, magic of, transformation of the shadow, the energy is just stronger. So I just wanted to make that point. That's the reason for the timing of the beginning of when we're starting the class.
Right. But we still don't want to miss that
window to the new moon wishes. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Very important as we are carried into this workshop for 6 weeks. So if anybody has any questions, go ahead and email us. Go ahead and sign up. That discount is available until the 29th of September. So take advantage of it right away. And join us. We have a lot of fun together, and just bring your open heart.
We have serious fun. Remember, you and I have all that and here's for another time, folks. Some of you may know, relationships have an astrological connection. Like those two folks, Stella and her honey, obviously their relationship is Capricorn because they're both Capricorns, but relationships have their own astrological signature. So you and I, Cindy, have that Capricorn energy of serious, etc., and yet the Leo moon, which is the fun. So it's like, it's serious fun with us.
Yeah. And we take what we do very seriously, and we each bring something different to the table, and yet we always have fun with it. So we look forward to all of you joining us on this journey. And I love that we are doing it in the fall this time. We did it in the spring before, and now we're doing our fall, and the energy is going to be very different.
Yes.
Yeah. So, well,
thank you for everything. I will probably sign up for that.
Okay.
So I learn a
All
little
right.
bit more
And like I
about
said, that $30 discount is the code for that is honeymoon. It's on the page, and
it's all lowercase.
And it's all lowercase.
Yeah, it is case sensitive.
Okay. All right. And it's Energized Living Today. If you're watching this later, Energized with a D, livingtoday.com/soul shadows. Is it soul shadow or soul?
Soul shadows. And the link is right under the video.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So there's going to be a link below. So I look forward to all of you joining us. Lorelei, thank you. And the next time that I see you in person, I'm so excited. Two beautiful, beautiful people. And so everybody write to her and tell her. Congratulations. And we send you all such love. Anything you want to end with, Lorelei?
Well, I was just going to say, I had a playground for the Soul Circle, and there was prominent Pisces energy in the circle. So I played the song, I Have a Dream, of fantasy that helps me cope with reality. And then there's a line from it that says, if you believe in fairy tales, then you can face reality, whatever it is. Well, I believe in fairy tales. Dreams that you dare to dream really do come true, because I'm going there for the 6th time. So obviously I believe.
but what I really love is, like you said, you came to this consciously.
Yes. Well, I did a lot of beat up. Oh my God. Over the years, I would project the judgmental part of me onto others or my family, or can't she get it right? What's wrong with her? Well, when I finally discovered that relationships were that's where I was studying, I got married a lot because I had a lot to learn about relationships, and never married anyone not thinking it was going to last forever, Mm-hmm. So then I learned through that wait a minute, if I think I'm experiencing judgment over there, it's mine. And so there's a lot less of that now. I really don't. I'm sure there are people that do, but my children have been to 2 of my weddings. This will be the 3rd wedding that my children have been to. and they're walking me down the aisle to somewhere over the rainbow, Cindy.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Dreams that you dare to dream really do come true.
Yes, they do. Well, this is beautiful, and again, we'll talk more about this. We look forward to you joining us. And Ferris, anything else that you want to let everybody know?
No.
Just the discount is till midnight on the 29th, September.
Yes. Oh, yes. Correct.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So,
Once she's married, it's all over.
No kidding.
it's expensive being married, I guess.
Can I ask a quick question?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. How is this going to be different from the one you did before?
Well, we're going to be, of course, the astrological temperature is going to be completely different. And we're going to be talking about each of the archetypes and what shadows show up in those archetypes. So we're adding this piece, which is going to be, make it much more in depth.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And Anne, write me about that, okay? Let's connect about that for those of you who want to come back to do this again.
Okay, will do.
Okay. All right, everybody. Well, love you very much. Thank you so much for being a part of our call tonight. And we look forward to you joining us on this journey. Again, it's energizedlivingtoday.com/soul shadows. And I just love you all, and namaste.
Namaste, and I send y'all light.